And of course, today's parade is also a show of force to the rest of the world as the war in the Middle East is escalating. Iran just launched a fifth missile attack against Israel moments ago. The rogue nation has been bombarding Israel with missile and drone strikes since Friday. But the country continues to push back against Iran. The IDF has launched airstrikes on more than 150 targets inside Iran, including nuclear facilities and air defense sites. Now the rogue nation is threatening to target U.S. military bases in the Middle East for backing Israel in this fight. But with today's military parade, we are reminding the rest of the axis of evil that America is the world's only superpower. As of last year, there were nearly 1.5 million U.S. active military personnel, and the numbers should go up after encouraging recruitment numbers so far this year. While the U.S. also has the world's second largest nuclear arsenal. So, Griff, I want to come to you on this because I do think this sends a very strong message at a time where there's a lot of chaos around the world.
Well, exactly. And let's tie a few things together because Miranda was talking about the morale is boosting, right? Those young men and women in the Army today will face our enemies, and they will be charged with defeating them and never quitting. And at a time that's so dangerous, nothing could be more important. And I think that, this display will reassure those that stand to actually face these enemies like Iran to defend Israel or elsewhere in the world. It tells them that we back you. We want to appreciate you. And, the left doesn't do a good job of appreciating our military. And this is a bad time for that because we have so many threats around the globe. And so hopefully there will be some takeaway from the parade today that not only sends the message to our enemies that don't mess with us, but also reassurance to our men and women in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines that will have to ultimately defend our freedoms. What freedoms are those? The freedoms that the protesters have to go stand with these signs saying no kings. They should never forget that the blood and sacrifice of those men and women that flew in these helicopters today, that rolled in these tanks, that they have that sacred privilege and right to do so.
Yeah, and it's hard for me not to, Mark, think about Joe Biden, his 4 years in office, and the geopolitical turmoil that we now face as a result of many of the decisions that he made. And so I think about what's happening with Iran specifically, but I also see China and Russia, this axis that's aligned together, new enemies coming together in ways that they never have before. And so you think about the message President Trump is trying to send, and I think the message is, Joe Biden's not in office anymore. Somebody new is in the White House, and we are not going to stand for it.
So when Donald Trump left office 4 years ago, the world was at peace, and he inherited a world on fire. And he is in the process of trying to deal with that mess. There are going to be 84 aircraft flying over the National Mall. There's also dozens of B-2 bombers stationed in Diego Garcia right now. And there's military there. We have aircraft carriers stationed in the region. And Iran is watching this, and they ought to be very cautious because Donald Trump told them in his last term, he said, if you harm a single American or one of your proxies harm a single American, we're not going to just hold the proxy responsible, we're going to hold Iran responsible. And so now they have a choice to make whether they retaliate against us for Israel's attack. And it would be, watch this parade. I say to the Ayatollah, watch this parade, because you don't want this coming down on you.
Oh, I think they definitely will be watching. And Mark, you bring up a great point. Miranda, I want you to respond to it because it's this notion that potentially if Iran wants to escalate this, they do go after U.S. assets, and that changes the ball game dramatically.
And that's why this parade could not have been better timed by Providence. I mean, the fact that it is Flag Day, the fact that it is Donald Trump's birthday, and the fact that it occurs the day after this Israel-Iran war has erupted, I think, there's a reason for it, and it is to show our adversaries around the world that, you don't mess with the United States military if you have got any brains at all. It's a real deterrent. And I would just say there was another parade recently with American military equipment, and that was in Kabul, and that was the Taliban, and that was Joe Biden's legacy.
So remember that one.
Yes. Yeah. So under Joe Biden, that 4 years, he diminished our fighting capacity and our deterrent value so badly. Good on Donald Trump for so quickly remedying the situation.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.